Morning, everybody. I'm Stacy with Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. It is indeed very early in the morning. I'm trying to be mindful of your time today, so this video is going to be a bit shorter than the other videos. So I'm just letting you know, so in case you're thinking, I don't have time. Yes, you do have time today, because I am being mindful of your time today. And that's our topic for today, mindfulness, the desire of the connection of expansion. So if you like that that's our topic today, please hit the like and subscribe button below. But before we get started, I want to welcome you back. If you come to this channel or visit this channel on a weekly basis and watch these videos, I sure do love and appreciate you. And I thank you very much for your love, support, in whatever way you do, whether you're just praying, sending good vibes, or subscribing, liking, and sharing, or even if you contribute monetarily to this channel. However you do, spreading that energy of love and light, into this world to promote more unity instead of division at these crazy times. So mindfulness is going to be a good topic for today. But if you're new to this channel, I want to welcome you. Thank you for visiting today. And I have to let you know that I'm not a doctor, a scientist, a psychologist, or any of those things, a psychiatrist. But I may share on those things, what I learn about those things, if I think that it'll help you like it's helped me too. But what I am is a life coach. I have a webpage called stacyforlife.com. On this webpage, I write a monthly blog, and I invite you to check those out. But also there's a description of the services that I provide as a life coach. It's really about going within to feel comfortable in our own skin, the desire for healing and healthy relationships, as well as development of spiritual and soul consciousness. So if you or anyone you know need help in any of those areas, feel free to check me out at stacyforlife.com. So let's get started in our mindfulness topic today. If you watched last week's video, and if you didn't, it will probably pop up at the end of this week's video if I remember to put it in there. I talked about mindfulness because, we are creating and making a lot of stuff up in our heads, and trust, I'm working on it too. I have to, patience that I shared on my Facebook page, and you're invited to, check out my Facebook page. It's Stacy Renee, or Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I shared the other day about how I'm having to learn to practice patience, and I am practicing patience, but it doesn't mean that I'm not sitting there and thinking things and wanting things to be different than they are, and that's really not practicing mindfulness, because patience is one of the attributes, I think, of mindfulness, because when we can sit in the present, if we're not sitting in the present, that means that we're sitting in the past, or we're sitting in the future, and that we're trying to make things happen. All right, y'all, so I've pulled out my notes, and these are the thoughts that I've had this week, knowing that mindfulness was indeed going to be our topic. What the hell? Knowing that mindfulness was indeed going to be our topic. So mindfulness is recognizing oftentimes lack, because where I've been stuck in this impatience is it's really connected to lack. But see, if we're not mindful, we think that this thing is our reality, and lack is not truly intended to be our reality, because we have everything that we want and we need. So if we sit in the present, which I've had to learn to do over many of times, is to just sit in the present. When I first started this journey through, having my own psychologist, through having my own life coach and all of this, the first thing they told me when I first started, because I had all these what ifs, is they were like, Stacy, sit still. Now what's happening right now? You're okay right now, and so I had to learn to sit still right now. If I sit still right now, what do I hear? It's like in between 5 and 6 in the morning right now, so I don't hear anything, which is really pretty cool, and that's why I'm recording at this time. But sometimes we're sitting still and we hear birds. Sometimes we do hear chaos, but are we okay? And that's mindfulness. That's the practice of mindfulness to me, is that we're breathing. We pay attention to our breath in mindfulness. What's going on right now? I am okay, right in this moment. I'm alive, I'm awake, I'm alert, and I'm aware. And from that point on, I can learn something new, okay? So here we go with the glasses again. Okay, Mindfulness in recognizing lack is setting boundaries with ourselves so we can savor experiences rather than sabotage in fear of there not being enough or being there, right? To learn confidence and esteem through humility and non-attachment. That's part of mindfulness to me. And then I was looking at this week, what do we want and what we need? You know, what we want, what we need, what we have, and what we desire. You know, really look at what you have first, and then what you want, what you need, and what you desire. So what we want is our conscious decisions. What we need is our unconscious decisions. And what we have are the result of these thoughts. So when we go to mindfulness, you know, it's like what we need is not really a choice, right? We don't think that what we need is a choice. We think that it's just something that we have to have. So when we look at what we have, what we want, what we need, and what we desire, we can kind of somewhere come up with harmony in between all of those. But when we're just focused on need, we're just going to be focused on need, and we're going to keep needing. This is the energy that we're putting out. When we want, it's a choice. You know, and that's the beauty of that, and it's more conscious. When we need, it's unconscious. I need this, I need that. So we're always saying these things, but when we get focused and centered and in the present, we won't overeat, because when we get focused and centered in the present, we understand that we have what we need. You know, that we are not getting what we want. And that, do we really want that if we have what we need? So it's about that, planting the seed. You know, the thing is that with the TV and the commercialism, is that sometimes these have blocked our creativity and mindfulness, because it's oftentimes when we're bored, we think we're bored, so we turn on the TV when we can in fact indeed practice the meditation, our mind needs taken care of, because we get into these routines and procedures. Now, we live in the matrix, and it's really cool because I'm part of the matrix too, or you wouldn't be watching this video, and I watch videos all the time too. Some of them are mindful videos that help feed my mind, body, and soul, and sometimes I'm mindless. You know, we can be mindful and mindless, and sometimes there's a need to be mindless, you know, when we're relaxing and chilling, and, you know, we can't always be meditating. I mean, I guess some people could, but not me, because I'm still human, and I still have to look at the dark side of things sometimes so that I can embrace that is part of this life too, you know, is to be grounded, is that I know that there's all these things going on, right? So back to the notes. There are days when I do my stupid human tricks. When I get centered, though, I can be clear and just set an intention and trust it to be divinely guided. You know, so it's about finding the balance, and, you know, it's hard to find balance these days, but when we can find a balance, or you know, be mindful and mindless at the right times, you know, just because we went to work and we think we used our mind all day, doesn't mean that we used it in the correct way. We used it as far as a robot. Sometimes we feel like a robot, right, when we're working all the time. Robots not being mindful, okay? So we have a programming of division right now, and we know this. There's a division between all kinds of different things, and I'm not even getting into that. That wouldn't be very mindful now, would it? So, you know, mindfulness, the definition of mindfulness is seeing everything as it is in the present moment. Okay, so oftentimes I've guided you when I do the Reiki on myself in the morning, and I did one exercise. I can't remember what video it was on, but, you know, I go here and I cover up my physical eyes to see things intuitively the way that they're meant to be. Not through my old tapes, because on the other side of my eyes is my subconscious, the back of my mind. I've told you all this, right? But if you're new, you haven't heard this. So I don't want it to just go in my eyes and just be fed without filtering through the top of my mind, through, you know, being able to learn something new and see something different as it is. You know, so I go here and cover up my physical eyes so that I see things right and correctly in divine mind. Because sometimes if I'm thinking things that are of lack, That's not coming from my divine mind. So I want to think things from my divine mind. So I ask that my thoughts be truly guided. If you're into chakras, your spiritual chakras here. So I want to nurture and hug my spiritual chakra, because if I'm seeing it spiritually, it's great. If I go to the back of my mind, though, this is just the part that's coming up for healing. There's nothing wrong with it. We're all healing from something, or could be, because we're humans. So it's just making sure that I'm conscious, because I want to be conscious of what I want, what I need, what I have, what I desire. So it's that consciousness. It's not going back into the old tapes. And I do. I've suffered from some struggling from impatience, because, we want what we want, and we want it right now. So it's about getting mindful. And when I sit down, I breathe, and I say, everything's okay. It is okay. So to me, the definition of mindfulness is this. Mindfulness means to me that just because a word isn't in our vocabulary doesn't mean it's not a word. So if talking mindfulness to you is like, what's she talking about? It's still a word, and it's still a way to be. And we get to choose which way we want to be, But when we think of mindfulness, we can't not think of mindfulness if we're, familiar with it, without thinking of Eckhart Tolle. So this is what Eckhart Tolle says about mindfulness. If your mind carries a heavy burden of the past, you will experience more of the same. You see, so this is why people keep thinking things are happening to them. The past perpetuates itself through lack of presence. You heard me talking about experiencing the lack myself. Is when I think I don't have a lack of prosperity, if I don't think I have a lack of love, if I don't think I have, if I think I have lack of love, lack of prosperity, or lack of these things, but if I'm sitting in the present, I don't have a lack of anything. I have gifts of air, of someplace to sit, a gift of warmth, comfort. I have the gift of breathing. There's so many gifts that we can see. Okay, so anyway, let me read this whole thing over. If your mind carries a heavy burden of the past, you will experience more of the same. The past perpetuates itself through lack of presence. The quality of your consciousness at this moment is what shapes the future. So before I look this quote up, because this was the last thing I looked up, because in the practice of getting this together, so I talked about lack. So when we can sit and be mindful, we realize that everything's divinely connected, because I didn't know all of this when I started writing this, writing my thoughts down about this, my perspectives down about this, and about the consciousness, that what we want is in our consciousness, what we need is in our unconsciousness. And when we get present, we know if we want or need what we really do when we stop and we sit still. Am I really full? Do I really need to smoke a cigarette, or do I really need to do this? Oftentimes when I used to smoke cigarettes 30 years ago, I used to think I couldn't do something until I smoked a cigarette. But what I found when I quit smoking cigarettes is that I got more done. So we're going to close with this quote. We're going to do a slight moment of y'all breathing. Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. So I just talked about choices a while ago, too. We get to choose what we do. Sometimes we want to be mindless. Sometimes we need to be mindful. So when we're feeling lack, it's a time to be mindful. It's a time to be mindful and think about, am I really hungry? Do I really need to smoke a cigarette? Do I really need to take that drink? Do I really need to do this or that or the other? Because when we sit still and give ourselves a few moments, and so when you start practicing the act of mindfulness, it's often suggested, or was suggested to me, to try for 3 minutes, because y'all also heard me talk about monkey mind. And some days, even though I've practiced the art of mindfulness, I can still have monkey mind. And so I just take a break from trying to be mindful and do something, and then come back to being mindful. But I try to get back in the present moment if I feel like I'm struggling or suffering or what have you, because it's a stupid human trick. Okay? So we're about to close this, but I just want you to sit still a moment and take some deep breaths. Breathe in and then out. Breathe in and then out. Breathe in and then out. So keep doing that. And then I want to think about in this moment, do you have a place to sit? Breathe in and breathe out. Even more importantly, are you able to take these breaths? Breathe in and breathe out. Remember, taking these breaths as you're doing right now is a choice. Breathe in and breathe out. We get to choose whether we want to experience peace. Breathe in and breathe out, or not. If we choose not, we're usually coming from thinking about the past or the future and what we have or do not have, or had or did not have. But if we're in the present with just this breath, breathe in and breathe out. We can get back in our bodies and be with our own motivations and intentions, and not something that's programmed into us. We've all been programmed to one degree or another. Breathe in and breathe out. But nothing changes until it changes. So we can change our programming just one little thing at a time. Definitely the breath is a good place to start. So we breathe in and breathe out. And we let our what ifs turn to what if I would have chosen it. Breathe in and breathe out. And if we're not satisfied with that, we ask us why we chose it and could we choose differently. Breathe in and breathe out. So where will I put my attention at this moment? It's not negating the truth, but it's putting my attention where the energy that I want to have. Breathe in and breathe out. And remembering right in this moment, there's nothing that I need as long as I have the breath to plant this seed. Breathe in, breathe out. Of a different thought and a different way to navigate. That everything I have is right here, right now. And if I can breathe, I can change things. So keep breathing. And I just want to encourage you, when you're feeling obsessed, if you're obsessing over the past, ask yourself if you can change it. And then what would the outcome you would like to see? Do you want to choose peace, harmony, or do you want to choose chaos and disharmony? Chaos and confusion. So breathe in and breathe out. So I encourage you, to check out mindfulness. Eckhart Tolle, like I said, I think that when we think of mindfulness, we can't think of that without thinking of Eckhart Tolle. I wish you much peace and love, and I hope that this little exercise has helped you some. And I thank you so much for being here today. And I hope that you'll practice mindfulness. In this holiday season, we're going into families, and we have our triggers bumping against each other. But we're definitely going to find peace in the breath. We find our histories, that past that I was talking about, bumping into the present. So we don't have to keep recreating that. We can do something different. We can choose not to respond, to that, or not to react to that, but to respond if we have to respond. But sometimes we can just breathe and let it be, because people are going to be the way that they are. It's us that can change our reality. They can't change our reality. So I wish you much peace and love, and I thank you for watching today. I appreciate you and your time. I'm mindful of it, and your time is valuable, as you are too. So remember that through these holidays. Take care of yourself, and if you have any ideas or suggestions for future videos, please feel free to email me at stacyrenee4life.com. And you can again look me up at stacy4life.com, and just know that I love and appreciate you. I am not feeding algorithms with these things. I just go along. So if you would like to donate monetarily to this channel to keep promoting the unity, love, and peace and positive algorithms, by my channel or anybody else's channel, just try to feed at least equally the positive algorithms as you do the negative. I feed some negative algorithms too, as I need to see what this case, the court cases. I want to see what this court case, and that might not be, is bringing about and all of this, and that might not be considered positive, but sometimes we are mindless. So it's an acceptance. That's what mindfulness brings to us, is acceptance. So thank you so very much. I wish you much peace and love. As I said before, I'm really going this time. Bye. Thank you.